Hey, y'all, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, this is Joe and Jay Outspoken. Remember to follow all of our platforms, and you can find them by going to Linktree/Joe and Jay Outspoken. I'm Jay. In today's episode, Joe and I will be discussing social media and its overall effect on our society. All right, Joe. So, what do you think? Where are we going to go with this one?
It's called, let's call it what it is. It's anti-social media,
That's right.
and like you said,
That's on the title.
yeah. And like you said, this is, we are part of that social media, but except we're going to talk about topics that aren't really American, that are not really driven to be part of our community. So let's get into this, man. Let's do this.
Yeah, definitely. This darn anti-patriotic social media.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We kind of wanted to hit this topic up because it's social media is a huge thing, as Joe alluded to just a little bit ago. We are part of the social media juggernaut that is out there. Obviously, we're on the smaller end of it than a lot of other platforms at the moment. But but we have seen an alarming trend of things, and I'm sure everybody's seen it or dealt with it. I know even like my mom, for example, she'll get into like political debates with people on like Instagram, for example, and she's been kicked off.
Get mom. Out of here.
Yeah. So,
wow.
When you start thinking about how one-sided it has really become, it's really disturbing to think that, things that are called hate speech is anything that comes out of a conservative's mouth, right? Is hate speech, and anything that comes out of a liberal's mouth, if it's like death to America, all conservatives must die or be punched in the face. It's freedom of speech. Yeah. I mean, you had, what was that? You had Pelosi and all these other folks on the left. Yeah. The name we don't speak of.
Yeah.
Call them. So,
if they said Pelosi, I want to call for an active exorcism.
Well, you just need to take the vodka bottle from her.
That's why we need an exorcism. You got a death grip on that thing. Yeah. Rosy cheeks.
Yeah, and her freaky ass husband, who knows what's going on with all that. But yeah, so you had all of these people that were saying, if you see a Trump supporter, punch him in the face, and don't let those people eat at restaurants and all this kind of stuff. And so that was freedom of speech, right? I don't think that was. I think that's inciting violence. So,
well, it depends who says it, Jay, and that's our topic today. Is that if it comes out of a particular party's mouth, it is free speech. If it comes out of another particular opposing party's mouth, it is a hate crime. Right. It all depends where it comes from. Like, for example, today, what are we seeing right now? We're seeing the Palestinian pro-Hamas, anti-Israel protests that are happening all across campuses in the U.S. And that's really shocking to me because these universities are public institutions, right? I mean, they're private, but they're paid for. But a lot of them are subsidized by taxpayers and
absolutely,
in the communities that they live in or that they're on or in, I should say. And this should be neutral. There was a time when there was the young Republicans, the young liberals in these campuses where they had great little debates, and it built fundamentals for great debaters in the future, which is fine, right? We had that in high school. We had a debate team, right? Yeah. We debated from the stupidest things to some hot topics at our time, right? But it's gone out of control, and some of the universities are pushing back, which I am grateful for, but a majority of them are just letting them just continue with their encampments. And where else do we see these kind of encampments? BLM, right? We saw with Antifa. They were doing all these things. Portland, remember Portland?
Yeah.
They took over Portland over
What
there
was
and
it?
let them
Chop or whatever they call that, their little town that they built up.
cha or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I
But
think it was.
but
Yeah, who
here's the
knows?
problem with that. And the problem is there's several problems. One, that shouldn't be happening in our universities, right? That should be, it's a public institution. Kick them out, because if you have any kind of group that's pro Hamas, pro Palestine, anti Israel, now you are targeting certain religious groups, certain ethnic groups, because now
Specific students. Yeah,
yeah, because now you're not allowing Jews into the halls that they go to study, right?
right.
Because they're Jews, right? And so now you're walking a very fine line. And
Yeah.
and how are we worsening that? Social media. Social media is allowing for these things to continue on their platforms, where I think anything like that should be shut down. Like anything that has to do with the well-being of society, when it goes against any type of race. I don't care if it's white, black, Hispanic, anything. Just as long as it affects one group, boom, ban. You shouldn't be doing it. You know what I mean? It
Right.
shouldn't be on there. But social media, again, is so one-sided, right? That they
Yeah,
want
that's the problem.
and that is the problem. Which, before I had a problem with what's his name, buying X or Twitter. What Elon Musk.
Oh,
I had a
Elon
problem.
Musk.
I did have a
Yeah.
problem because I'm thinking, okay, here comes this one guy. He's gonna take over all these things, and he's gonna try to make it like his own, and blah blah blah. But he really did it. He wanted to make it a truly free speech platform, right? And then after I started seeing what he's trying to do, I'm like, okay, this is good. This is
And-
absolutely a positive thing, a direction that we need to go to, right? But now because of that, he gets hate speech. He gets all kinds of stuff because of it. And I'm thinking, well, of course you're gonna do that because of
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? So
well people are bugged now because so he's still kicking. So I know somebody that's pretty active. I'm not a Twitter person at all. I know somebody that is pretty active on Twitter.
I like to tweet.
And he's had to use multiple phone numbers and such because he's had account bans and all that. And prior to the Elon Musk takeover, he was banned constantly, right? Because he has conservative thoughts and speech, and
absolutely.
And admittingly, he says some stuff, in my opinion, is way out off colored. But I mean, again, so here's the two sides to this. He is saying stuff that the other side says just as aggressively,
and as offensive,
and is offensive. So if you're going to say free speech, you need to let all of them just say whatever they're going to say, and maybe mark their accounts as adults only. Kids can't follow it, or something to that effect. Or if you say no, that's hateful. Well, it's hateful over there too. So you're going to cancel them also. So now, since Elon Musk has been there, he has said that his, because they can do like a couple days where they kick you off, or a couple weeks, or you can get permabanned where they close your account or ban your account or what have you. And he said he's still getting kicked off once in a while, even with Elon Musk in there. He said, but some of the people that he argues with on Twitter, he'll see when they're going back and forth, they both get kicked off at the same time. So that's good. That's where we need to be at, is something like that. And the thing is that's why people don't like Elon Musk, is because he's making things fair. You know, he's not a conservative or Republican by any means.
In fact, I think he's independent, is he?
He went more independent, but he was a lefty before, right?
Right.
But
he's a Whig now. Just part of the Whig Party.
The Whig Party. But just like so many people, they have seen. I mean, come on, man. Let's be honest.
Daddy Trump was a Democrat. Trump was a Democrat. Remember,
dude? Everybody. I mean, if you look at all these people, look at Candace Owens has been in the news quite a bit lately. She's like, I voted for Barack Obama. I was a liberal, all these kind of things. And just like Ronald Reagan said back in the day, Ronald Reagan was a liberal, right? And he said,
Hollywood.
I didn't leave. He was in Hollywood. I didn't leave the Democratic Party. The Democrat Party left me, right? That was a famous thing that he said. And all of these people that do move over, they say the same thing. I mean, if you look at the walk away, you can go on YouTube and just type in walk away, like hashtag walk away. The amount of people that walk away from the left, from the Democratic Party, and not necessarily do they go all the way to the Republicans. They still, may not like Republicans, but they go independent but the thing is they're waking up to thinking for themselves, and instead of being so sheepish to everything, because this is going back to what you were talking about, everything going on in the college campuses. This is the problem with it, is that these kids, there's one or two things. They either get brainwashed into it, right? And they believe that um, everything that's being said on the campus and all that is true, and they need to follow suit with it because it's the popular thing of the week. I mean, what happened to Ukraine? Ukraine was the most popular thing. Nobody gives a crap about Ukraine anymore. It's
Well,
all
because
about
we sent all
Palestine
the
now.
money that they needed already, or
Yeah,
that's been
right.
laundered. We're good.
Yeah,
Move on.
we're good now.
Moving on to Israel and Palestine.
Yeah, moving on to laundering strategy number 2.
Yeah.
So the second thing is that I truly believe, and I truly believe this is the case with a lot of things, with the transgender movement, with feminism, with so many other things, is that these people are just going along with it because it is, and we all remember this when we were young, peer pressure, right? And they don't want to be the black sheep in the crowd, right? They want to move
They don't want to
along
get
with the
left
flow.
behind, bro. It's like going to
They don't want
Coachella. They don't want to be left behind. They don't want to be that group
Right.
that didn't go to Coachella. Let's face it. But
Absolutely.
you hit another topic that, again, anti-social media impacts, and that's the gender role. Like, you have these adult transgender men, right, talking to children on their feeds. Why are they allowed to do that? Why isn't there a watch group within social medias that say, hey, let's not allow this. This is kind of creepy. All respect to the transgender
That's
person.
super creepy.
This is creepy for them to be calling out kids and, hey, kids, call me if your parents, and that there's fine lines that social media platforms are allowing to get crossed daily, and that's not right, because, again,
Right.
if you let a bot kind of control that because it looks for keywords and whatnot, and you don't have a person really looking at that, and it's just getting by, that's not right. And
Right.
again, bots are programmed, so it's going to look for keywords like Republican, right, MAGA, and things like that, but it's going to let all the transgender stuff go through, unless a word like any kind of hate towards it, like POS or anything like that, is attached to they're going to knock that down, because I've done that. I put on there POS transgender something, and it gets like, well, this looks familiar, like something we didn't allow before. And I'm like, I don't care, post it anyway. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it gives you a little timer bar.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't care.
Do you want to post this? Are you sure?
I do. So
yeah,
that's, again, that's that social media allowing for these liberal beliefs, because, again, who runs the social media? Liberal people, right?
yeah.
And they allow for this to happen, right? Because, but again, how many times have we proven, especially in the Biden administration, that government is involved with social medias? Right?
Oh,
you're
all over the place.
You're a conspiracy theorist. You know this, right? Tell me it's not true. Tell me it's not true. The government has not been caught with their pants down, giving it to the social media, telling them what to remove, what to add, what to take, to put keywords out there to alert them. Shoot. The only thing I haven't put on there is my boat when it sank with all the guns in it.
Well, Mark Zuckerberg has been in Congress. Zuckerberg, yeah. He has been in Congress having to explain himself to why, they silenced, they changed things, they did specific things for, and,
it was the 2020 election,
it's
right?
Free, it's free information out there. You can find out, especially people in that caliber, because they give a lot of money, right? So the, whoever wealthy person, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, any of these people that have money, you can look and see Joe and Jay. Yeah, you could look us up and see who they donate money to and what political parties. And it's crazy to think that these companies, these big companies like Facebook, where Mark Zuckerberg's at, are going to donate these huge amounts of funds to one specific political party, yet they're not going to have a biases towards them, or get or against the other one. And I mean, he admitted in Congress half the things that were, the conspiracy theory people said, oh yeah, Facebook is doing this and that. Oh no, you guys are, you MAGA weird tinfoil hat people. And guess what? We found it out that, it's true that he was manipulating the systems. So was Jack Dorsey, was his name, with Twitter originally before Elon Musk, and all these other, big high profile people.
All these other yahoos.
All these other yahoos. Yeah. You know what? Bring back Tom from MySpace. I really like that guy. Let's bring it back.
Bring back MySpace, bro.
MySpace.
I used to love that. You get on anyone's page, they had music playing. Their little music. Remember that?
Yep.
MySpace.
Yeah. It was awesome when we were in a band. Having that band page up was really good.
Bring it back. That's what I'm saying.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
So one of the things that, I fear with social media that they're really pushing is this socialist agenda. Social media has really brought in a lot of stuff with kind of that social credit score-ish thing that I have a lot of.
The one that the LGBT community has.
Yeah. Well, that's
similar
part
to
of
that
it.
one, because how they have a scoring system.
Right. Well, the thing is that like over in China, they have specific credit score systems that if you get down to 0 or whatever, you can't fly anywhere. You can't buy stuff at a store. I mean, it becomes really terrible. I mean, they basically take away your rights to do everything because you weren't nice to people or whatever they're, I don't know exactly what all their specific criteria is, but I can tell you most of it is based around following whatever the Communist Socialist Party wants,
who's next to
right?
do that? You know who's going to be doing that? Trudeau in Canada.
Oh, no, Trudeau. Yeah.
Well, I guarantee.
Yeah. Canada's already started a bunch of
weird stuff.
Man,
Trudeau needs to go away, man.
And here's the thing is I feel horrible for our Canadian brothers and sisters up there, that what they're going through. Cause I mean,
hey hoser,
man. Hey hoser. What's up? Strange brew. I don't want him to see it. I don't want to see him go through that, but it's kind of like in the United States. It's like, listen, pick a state. We've kind of already picked California. Let them drive it into the dirt. Just let the Democrats take over and do whatever they're going to do. Now, I don't want them to do that, but I'm just saying as an example, let them take New York or whatever. Pick a state and just drive it into the ground because that's what they will do. The fact
they already are.
So they already are. So we're in Arizona, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a red state. Now people are, no, it's turning blue because you got a governor and all this. Okay, well.
See where that goes.
Again, there's a bunch of tinfoil hat stuff geared around that. But the places that are the worst in the state are all heavy blue dots, right? The best places in the state that people want to live in and everybody's moving to, guess what? They're really conservative areas.
It's a red state.
And it's the same thing if you go to Illinois, if you go to New York, if you go to Texas. Texas is a huge red state. What are the garbage places in Texas? It's Austin. Where all the liberals have taken over.
Austin.
Like that's where the most crime is, the most nonsense going on, the most homeless. Everywhere that there is major homeless encampments, guess who runs those cities? Everywhere that you have major ghettos, guess who runs those cities?
So again,
the thing is we gave you the power and look what you did with it, right?
Well, because they have their own agenda. But again, we go back to the same thing about social media and their drive. And that's one example of what we're talking about right now. What picture do they paint as far as what a Republican person is, a conservative? I don't want you to say Republican.
The racist. The
racists or rednecks, right? They're Okies from the Skokies.
All
right?
they have to say is they're racist and bigots. That's it.
Right. They they say mom, pa, and things like that. And that's the picture that social media puts out there of what conservatives are, right? Or these Bible thumpers and things like that. which, you know what's sad about it, Jay, is that the Democrats were like that. That's what the Democrats were,
Right.
and they've given up. They've given everything in. They've given into the woke society.
Yeah.
We lost our friends, the gay people, to this 2SLGBTQI to the higher power number 2 stuff, and they've gone. It's
Sine
gone
and cosine.
yeah, and it's gone ridiculous, right? Because now they do spirits, and now they brought in the Native Americans into this gayness too, and they're going with it too, because they hate America because we took their land and we gave them casinos, right? And so everyone's jumping on board, and they have totally just destroyed the gay community. They've taken it over, and social media feeds into this, right? They keep pushing that propaganda. They keep throwing it out there. When every time that someone comes from the conservative side and try to say something about what the Bible says about their beliefs or what they're doing and blah blah blah, gets knocked down because it's against the community guidelines and whatnot. But yet theirs stays up, which is weird. What's also funny is, like, I've grabbed videos, and this is on our stuff. I've grabbed videos that I've done, put back in them with a comment, and it's not even a horrible comment. It's like, do you believe this? And it gets taken down because it goes against community guidelines. I'm like, wait a minute, I pulled it from there. And it wasn't down because of community. How is it now all of a sudden because a more conservative platform is saying something, you know what I mean, or producing it, and so those little things just lead me to believe and feeds into my belief that it is all controlled to only show one side. They allow just enough to keep your mouth shut, right? But they just on the other side, it's just coming down like a waterfall. It's just pouring out like a water spigot. It's just coming out, right, with much pressure. And our side, the ones that we want to talk about Christ, or we want to talk about society, we want to talk about just how things are going on in a downward spiral, it gets knocked down, right? Or it gets limited views, right? Because they'll I don't know what they do to get those limited views. They knock things down, man. And we, like, even on the Tickety Talk, we go from all these views, and you put something that's very controversial, and all of a sudden it's like 3 views, and you're like, huh, that's a little weird. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Because the algorithm specifically doesn't show it to people, because people click on the shorts and stuff like that on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then Instagram, it's really easy because on your feed, you have, maybe somebody follows us, right? But they're not going to get it on their home feed. They have to specifically go to the site to see it.
Yeah.
So
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that algorithm knocks it out.
So I try to put hashtags liberals, hashtag all kinds of stuff.
LGBTQ or whatever.
LGBTQ. And they'd be like, this has nothing to do with any of that. I'm like, yeah, but you pulled it up.
yeah. We're gonna get some hate mail.
Yeah. Well, right.
Yeah. I mean, we got to do what we got to do.
What you got to do.
So yeah, it's definitely a two-sided system with pretty much all of media. I mean, unless you're on and we are on Rumble also. So if you're ever not seeing stuff here, or anything gets blocked, or we ever get banned off of this site, we are on Rumble.
I'm sure will happen too.
All of our episodes are over there also. So Rumble, for those of you that don't know, Rumble is another basically
Pornhub,
open conservative version of YouTube. So it's a different platform. To me, it's a little wonky how it's set up. They could have kind of copied it after YouTube a little bit better, because this is a standard platform, so
Rumble, come on, man, Jay, he'll fix you. He's a computer whiz kid.
No, I don't know about all that. We do need to build your computer though. So
yeah. Remember when you used to have those boxes? Oh, forget it.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about all that stuff. The FBI is here.
Damn it.
How'd they get here so quick? I don't know. They had they knew what we were going to be talking about before we were talking about it. So there's a double standard in social media, right? And that should put the fear in anybody. And it's one of those things. It's like, my, I'm not into sports, and but if we were going for some specific team or whatever, and
Any
uh,
team.
any team, yeah,
Any team.
any team, and that team uh, kept winning on their own accord, it's great, right?
Well, not my team.
But then you have a team that all of a sudden
Are you
it's like
adjusting your bra strap? Are you okay
you know
over there?
that they're yeah. Come on, man! I had an itch.
Sorry.
Sorry, dry skin. I don't know. It's not winter, so I don't know what's going on. I'm falling apart here. Man.
Put the lotion on the skin.
Oh gosh. We'll talk about that later. So I'm all out of lotion, but I got lots of skin. Yeah. So you got all of these teams that are playing each other, and like I say, our teams winning, and they're winning on their own accord, doing good job. Now all of a sudden you get this team that starts blowing everybody away, and then people find out, oh, they're cheating, and their fans are like, no, they're not cheating, they're doing a great job and everything, we love them. So the thing is, the reason I use that analogy is right now the liberals and the lefties and the Democrats and everybody, they don't care that conservatives, good, kick all the conservatives off, we don't want them on here. The thing is eventually they're coming after you too. And one of the problems with I'd say the left side of the aisle is that they eat their own. I mean, you look at all these people that are,
well, they eat their own that opposes them.
That's right. And well, that becomes that crazy thing. Like, how do you know you're opposing them until you are, and then it's too late, and they're gonna tar and feather you for whatever you said or did or didn't do or didn't support or did support or whatever. It's just crazy. I mean, I am utterly confused on their logic when it comes to,
or lack thereof.
And that's what it is there's zero logic in half the stuff that goes on. And the thing that sucks is that there are people that the only thing you can call them anymore is classical liberal, the people that, yeah, we're going to disagree with them, but we could sit and have a normal conversation and agree to disagree on multiple, items and things like that. But we would probably be really on the same page and, on most things. And it's sad that we have gotten so far, to the left and to the right on so many things. And you and I have talked about this many times, that there's even stuff on the right that we don't agree with, right? These extremist right guys, and they,
or even the liberal conservatives.
Yeah. There's, it seems like if somebody's on the left, they see everybody on the right as, MAGA Trump supporter kind of thing. There's a lot of people on the right that don't support Trump, right? That don't agree with him and this and that.
Absolutely. I feel like there's more now than there was before.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. However, I think, in my opinion, I think he has more, and I don't want to, it's not the right word for it, but like pity support right now because of everything that's going on. There's so many people that look at this, all these trials and everything, and like I'll see comments, right, on Instagram and everything else that says, yeah, put him in jail, he needs to go away and all this and everything that he's done wrong. Okay. I will never stand up and say that Trump is the most innocent guy in the world. I won't say it. I mean,
no one's innocent. Let's be honest.
And nobody's innocent. Everybody's done dumb things in their life. Let me tell you, if they arrest him or put him in, like literally put him in jail for any of the stuff that they're talking about, do you know how many people in Congress, presidents, our current one and past ones, and everybody that would need to be jailed and everything? Are you kidding me? I mean, there's many things.
But they're not going to get jailed. It's only going to be him.
No, right. And so start to think about that. As long as you play by their rules, you can do no wrong and not, not go to jail, not get fined, and all this kind of stuff. There is a whole thing with cruel and unusual punishment and um, what is it, excessive bail, and all these kind of things. And
He's
I
been
mean,
getting
how
hit
are
with
they?
every single one.
I know, 350 million.
Yeah, he's been
Imagine
hit.
as a normal individual, they hit you with that. You'd be in jail the rest of your life. You couldn't get out,
Pedophiles from Hollywood get less.
dude.
And
It's
so, you know what's
yeah,
funny, and this is why I know that we're right, that we're correct. At least the conservative side of things is because everybody that speaks ill will of Trump, be what it may, are all these Hollywood people, right? The Robert De
yeah,
Niro's, the Farrah Fawcett's, all these crazy loonies, that are talking about him. And the craziness about it is that they got this Stormy Daniels thing going on right now, right? With this whole
yeah,
thing, the hush money and stuff like that, which she said that there wasn't hush money, right? She's already said that, but here we
right,
are still dealing with this.
yeah,
Um, whatever happened with Clinton and Monica Lewinsky?
yeah. He
Guy
got a
never went to a trial, never saw nothing, never saw the inside of a
and
courtroom
did that in the White House.
in the White House, right? And
He
I
had an
mean, but come on, I
erection.
mean, have you seen Hillary? I mean, I would have done it too. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that um, because of all the negative coverage, because our social media has basically taken over where big media has left, because people no longer look
Yeah,
at big media for news. They go to
right.
social media now, right? And social media has just
That's
taken
correct.
over that beauty of being totally left, right? Doing their views, allowing, so what, how do they control that? By allowing the leftist views to broadcast more freely than the conservative side, right? The conservative
Right.
side is a little bit more controlled, little narrower to get through, where the liberal side is wide open. Floodgates are open. Let's get everything in here. The dam's going to burst. Let's get everyone in here, right? And,
Yeah.
and on the other side, we're like, we're only going to let a little trickle come through because you guys are too much for us right now, right? And how's that fair? It's not. So people are only going to get one side of the story. They're not going to get the other side. They're not going to get the rebuttals. They're not going to get any of that because no one's going to see it. It gets hidden and disappears.
Right.
And what do? We will complain and protest, and then they'll review it and say, nope, we're going to hold our ground, and that's it. You don't like it, go find another platform. And
Yeah.
that's just the way it is. That's how society is. That's how social media is. Um, and social media, I think if we're gonna play that game, I think that we need to control that. If you're anti-American, not on these platforms. Eradicate it from the platforms. If you show anything that has to do with some kind of controversy but impacts a religious group, a race, anything like that, eradicate it from social media. Right? They shouldn't allow those things. Right? It started off as a very nice platform, and I think all of them did. Right? Little kids, you want to show your kids dancing and whatnot, and then
Right.
it just got consumed by pedophiles, got consumed by leftists, it got consumed by crazy radicals from both sides. And that's what you have. You have now zero
Yeah.
control of it, right? And like I've seen some of these things like on the Tickety Talk, where you have like they put they put these gymnastics kids or doing all kinds of stuff, and you have grown ass men commenting on there like, "Oh, you're a hottie" and stuff. I'm like, anyone gonna say anything? She's
Wow.
not more than 12 years old, and this creeper is saying she's a hottie. Like, that's a automatic. You're out of here. I'm
Yeah.
reporting you to the local PD.
Straight to jail. Straight to jail.
But nothing, bro. Nothing. It's open. But let a
Oh
conservative
man.
say something about transgenderism and community guidelines. You're out of here. Get out of here. 30
Right.
days in social media jail, right? This is bro. You
Straight
know how
to
many times
jail.
I got
Straight to
knocked out
jail.
of? I had to change mine. I had like 15 accounts at one point because they kept freezing mine.
Kept blocking you and
Dude,
stuff. Yeah.
I had to slow down my comments. I get a little crazy. Got a little crazy.
Well, for everybody, their social media feed typically is an echo chamber of what they like, what they see, what they comment on, and all that. Those algorithms take that and it kind of feeds you what you want, so you'll stay on it longer, right? So I guarantee you, a young liberal girl, she's going to see all the stuff for all the Hamas things. She's also going to see all the stuff for, the new makeup lines that are coming out and all that kind of stuff, right? Young conservative boy, he's probably going to see stuff for, the new Jeep that came out, and he's going to see stuff for, Trump and all this kind of stuff. So there are, again, these echo chambers in, on a minute level. With that being said, social media in general is a leftist echo chamber, right? Because what they're going to feed you with is stuff that is propagandized towards a leftist viewpoint, right? So, and it's one of the things with like myself, I'll see stuff, I'm like, what the heck is this? This is really, weird, or something that I haven't I would have never looked at or watched. And I go ahead and view these things and watch them, because the thing is, I don't want to be stuck in a specific echo chamber, right? Yeah, it's cool. You get to see the same stuff over and over. Like, I'm really into music, so I love stuff that has bands and touring and band musical equipment and all that kind of stuff. So I see a lot of that kind of stuff on my feed, which is really cool. But then obviously with
I've
what
seen
we
other
do,
stuff on your feed.
that's a whole different platform. So we're not going to talk about that one today. That one I pay $17.95 a month for to be a part of.
VIP.
Only feet. VIP status. Yeah. No. And so social media now, the platforms have become the new era lobbyists, right? So we were so used to companies like, you go back far enough, like Philip Morris, right? Huge lobbying company for the cigarette tobacco industry. And you look at all these companies, oil and everything else, they're huge in Washington, right? They've got so much money being slapped around, taking people to dinner, and then, funding campaigns and stuff like that, and then saying, hey, you owe us in the end, you're going to make sure you do this for our oil company, or you're going to make sure that the tobacco stuff, we can still sell it and all that. Well, now the lobbying is with these social media companies, because they have so much influence out there, and especially on the younger minds, and the younger minds are more malleable, than most of us old farts. The people that are on the left or the right, they're going to stay on the left or the right. It's really hard to, change their minds. But
It's all the young people who are so easily manipulated. All you got to do is put a little cartoon on there that favors them, and they're like on it, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy, but it's true. I mean,
right.
You know what's funny and it's crazy? If you do searches on your phone, your social media platforms pick that up. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. So I was doing searches on Google, and I was looking for, I think it was coffee makers or espresso makers. And I kid you not, next thing you know, my social media feeds were showing me all these espresso makers.
Wow.
And that's not the first time I've done it, So honestly, take a look. When you're Googling something like a search or something, next thing, when you're going through your social media, you're going to pop it. It's going to pop up. You're going to see it. So,
yeah.
So I don't know if it's the Amazons. I don't know if it's because all that does it too. Amazon does it too. And you'll see feeds on Amazon in there, and it has stuff that you like. So I'm just saying, I don't know where that's happening. I don't know if, how it's, but it's all in the phones, man. Everything's connected. Everything's hooked up. Yeah. Everybody, social media is. I could almost guarantee you, like, social media is paying Google, or Google's paying social medias. Someone's paying somebody. They don't have to disclose that information, because it's you're just selling. You're selling bytes. That's all you're doing. Right?
Yeah, that's it.
And you don't need to disclose it, because it's not your personal information. None of these searches. Now, when I put in there, how do I dispose of a body? I'm hoping that I get some kind of like some caskets or some nice digging equipment. I don't know, but we'll see. But I'm just saying that, there's
funeral parlors for sale.
But you know what I mean? So it everything is connected, you know, and as people do searches, it's going to feed these platforms, and these platforms are just going to feed more into your feeds, and it's
Right.
gonna it manipulates you, it changes you, it's just there's so much stuff going on, and people don't see it, you know. One of the things that I think you and I have talked about a lot is, hey man, shut it down. Go outside, go do some spend time with your family, go people stay off your
Yeah.
phones, you know, stay off
Right.
social media, stay off the computer. Shut your
Yeah.
electronics down and go outside and have a good day. Go barbecue. What happened to the good old days, right? When we used to, and I think that's the difference with our generation versus everybody else's under us or behind us, however you see it, in front of us, is that we had that human connection, right? People don't learn. People do not learn that you need the whole purpose of humanity was to connect, right? Not through social media platforms, not through behind a phone. Everyone's become these social media warriors. They talk a big game behind their phones, but you get them out in person and
Keyboard warriors.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, back in the days, we connected with people. You know, when you're
Yeah.
talking to someone, you're connecting, you're seeing their facial expressions. You know, if like your joke's gonna go
Right.
kind of astray, you're like, yeah, maybe I'll change the topic. You know, whatever the case is. And when I say people don't learn, what happened with COVID?
Yeah.
Where
The
everybody got locked
mass.
down. Look at how much. Look
Yeah.
how bad our children suffered, right?
Yeah.
Because they
Absolutely.
failed to connect. Because at least
Right.
they connected in school. They interacted with other children.
Yeah.
They had that connectivity. Now we don't. Now that you know everything's back to normal, right? And you have big pharma, you have big politics, you have car companies, you have everything feeding you stuff in your social medias, and the lefties with their crazy red hair and the blue hairs and the pink hair, all that transgender stuff, all that's going on.
It's my favorite.
I'm telling you, anything, and Jay, I will go to the grave saying this. Anything that has to do with sexuality, transgender, LGBT, all that, that should be 18 and over. That should not be allowed for children. That should not be put
Agree
out there
100%.
for them to get them just confused. Go back to Tom and Jerry. Go back to, you know, Speedy Gonzales. Go back to those little cartoons that you know, Blues Clues, you know, all those things that help kids, you know, keep it at their maturity level. You know, why do you want to show them LGBT stuff when they're, you know, 12 or under? Keep it at their
Right.
maturity level. You know, all that people don't understand. You feed them enough of this is going to happen. Columbine.
That's
You
right.
feed them enough of this crazy stuff, kids are going to go and start shooting up school, right? This is what
Right.
happens when you feed them the wrong stuff at the wrong age or maturity level. Kids don't know
Right.
how to decipher these things because they're not at that level. That's why people, when they go
Yeah.
to school, we don't start with calculus. We start with multiplication or with addition and
Right.
subtraction. You know, could
Well,
you?
why does the movie system, why do they have G rating and PG and PG-13 and R and X and triple X and all
For
that? Why do they have those ratings? Why?
because
It's
because what's being showed is not appropriate for certain age groups.
for a certain audience. That's correct.
Mm.
And who decides on that, you know, who that certain audience is?
MPAA, Motion Pictures Association of America.
Yeah, right. The people that decide whether or not my children can go and watch an R-rated movie when they're 4 years old, that's my decision, kind of thing.
Mhm.
And you know, but there are ratings that we have decided as a society, as a decent society, and said, listen, if you want to bring your 2-year-olds to this R-rated movie, you're the parents, but we don't recommend it. And as a society, we need to get to that point that we say, listen, these are drag shows and stuff like that. You're 21 years old. You want to go have a drink and a burger
Kids
and
are
watch
not
some
allowed.
dudes
They should be
dressed up
labeled
and
adult only.
yeah. So
What
it's
happened
it's
to
a rated,
NWA?
it's a rated R restaurant, you know?
What happened to NWA? They were the first ones to get slapped with those
Tipper Gore's stickers.
the Tipper Gore stickers, right? Because you know of
Yeah.
the profanity that NWA
Well,
came out with.
So here's one of the things, the little caveat with that. So being a musician coming during that time, when that first hit, so they got hit with that, and the thing that the parents started
Straight out of Compton. Okay.
yes, they were like, oh, okay, so that black and white sticker means my kid can't buy this. Well, record stores at that time you usually wouldn't sell them to kids, but I mean, I remember the mall that we had in our town, the record alley. You remember that place? We could go in there and buy any of those things because those guys were really cool with us because we were in bands, but we were young. I wasn't 18 yet, and the thing is that bands wanted that sticker, right? Because it was like a badge of honor that you had the PMRC. It was the parental RC. I don't know. Look up PMRC, whatever it is. And Tipper Gore had started all that stuff with all his parents. It was some parental whatever.
Good old Tipper Gore.
Yeah. Al Gore's wifey.
Yeah.
So anyhow, kids, because that was made such a big deal of and they labeled it, guess what happened? Kids were interested. Don't touch the shiny red button. Guess what kids want to do? Touch the shiny red button. So we've created this whole thing with the transgender movement, right? That, well, why is it so taboo? Well, I want to learn more about it. Maybe I'm like that. Transgenders have been around a long time. Cross-dressing has been around a long time, and it's never been a big deal.
No,
we've all of a sudden.
I used to go to the trans shows. They were fun. It was almost like Birdcage fun. You go in there.
I remember when you dressed up like that. I remember that.
Here we go. Here we go.
You were a good dancer.
Thank you. I tried.
The brass pole. You didn't need that though. That went too far.
It was kind of high for me anyway. But I don't know if you remember in Coachella, right down on 50th, I don't know, there was a Red Barn bar right there. It was right off 111. It was Red Barn, and on like Sundays, there's a regular bar you go down and have drinks and blah blah. But on Sundays they had a show that it was transgender. It was like a comedy show, bro. It was so hilarious. It was funny. Yeah. And I used to go down there with a bunch of buddies, sometimes with my girl, and watch a show, and it was funny as fun as hell.
And seeing there's nothing wrong with that. A bunch of adults want to do. There's still a place. It's I don't know if it's like a franchise or they just own it or whatever it is, but it's called Hamburger Mary's. Same thing, right? You go in there, you have a beer, soda, hamburger, and they have like drag shows and stuff like that. And it's not a thing for me in particular, but
all of a sudden, you used to go watch me. Used to go watch me all the time. All of a sudden, not for you. Here we go.
That's what we called. Yeah, I enjoyed the burger, Diet Coke, and Joanna Pole.
Yeah.
That's why I called it Burger Buns.
or how you used to call me before. What's the name? Did Pepe on a stick?
Pepe. Jeff Dunham.
Yeah.
Jose Jalapeno.
Jose Jalapeno.
On a stick.
On a stick. Oh my God.
Out of control. Well, this whole episode just went left field, everybody. So thanks so much for joining us this week. We really appreciate you guys.
We really do, guys.
Yeah. If this is your first time here, make sure you check out our back catalog. We've got all kinds of shows and some interesting topics. May not be for everybody, but it's for a lot of folks. So yeah. And if you want to check out all of our social media platforms, you can go to Linktree/Joe and Jay Outspoken. So as we always say, take care of one another.
And remember, do better, be better.
And as always, God bless America.
We'll see you.